All right, so Warcraft 4. Now, was Warcraft 4 in development? Was it something that the team wanted?
I cannot read it.
Yeah, well, let's see, because the question is from X Saperi, and is, do you know if there will ever be Warcraft 4? Warcraft 4. Was it ever planned and scrapped or something? Now, this is a big answer, okay? So let's focus here.
Okay.
So Jason responds, so okay, StarCraft 2 did pretty well, but it didn't meet the company's lofty expectations, and each entry in the trilogy did worse than the last. Production director Tim Morton led a plan to release new content packs in the form of Nova covered ops, which I thought ruled.
Yeah,
they were awesome. Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
But that didn't sell gangbusters either. Then StarCraft 2 went free to play and again did well, but not Overwatch or Hearthstone well. Morton and his team tried for years to kick off a new RTS, making all sorts of pitches and prototypes from Warcraft 4 to even wildly a Call of Duty RTS pitch. He was desperate, but there was no appetite among Blizzard's executive team for a new RTS game. They held out hope that if Warcraft 3 Reforged was a massive success, it might help open the doors for a Warcraft 4. So the guy placed his bet. So Tim Morton really wanted a new RTS to be made, right?
Yeah.
And again, at the point of discussion here, like when this was happening, Tim Morton had under its belt all of the people that are developing now, Stormgate and so on and so forth. So all the good people that worked at StarCraft and Warcraft 3 and all of that. So this was then all the people were there. He wanted to do a new RTS. The execs didn't want Warcraft 4. They pitched Warcraft 4. You know, as desperate as he was, he even pitched a Call of Duty RTS, right?
I mean,
but once the discussion about the Reforged, the remaster of Warcraft 3 came along, he was like, okay, if this banks heavily, and by all expectations, it should have banked super hard, they would then have the green light to make a Warcraft 4. So continuing here, they held out hope that if Warcraft 3 Reforged was a massive success, it might help open the doors for a Warcraft 4. But Reforged turned out to be a debacle, the company's first bad game and a blemish in Blizzard's history. So in 2020, Morton and some of his team left to form Frost Giant and recently released Stormgate. Jason also underlines what I was saying. Maybe under Xbox, there's room for a small team to work on an RTS and release it on Game Pass or something, but these days, who knows? And he mentioned that, he says this because, once again, he also knows that Microsoft and, the Xbox folk have an appetite for RTS. Yeah. They believe there's a lot of people there who believe in the genre, and this could potentially happen. But Warcraft 4 was on the table, and Tim Morton was desperate to try to put it out. He just wanted a brand new RTS. And when I read this, man, I was like, man, we were close to having a Warcraft 4. I'm still down for Warcraft 4. I still believe, because it wouldn't be the classical RTS. It would be probably much more heavily put into the RPG, much more than Warcraft 3 into the RPG elements.
You think?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it wouldn't be like classic RTS because.
Well, no, not like classic, but it can never be classic. Once you
not
add
classic RTS RPG even, not classic Warcraft 3. I think it would be a lot more heavy into that. Now, sure, when you look at the Frost Giant team and what they did with Stormgate, obviously they focused a lot on the mechanics, the combat, the competitive side, right? When it comes to Warcraft and Warcraft 4, all I think about is how you tie in the stories. How does this progress from World of Warcraft?
It has to be that way because a problem with the fall of StarCraft 2 from its grace was, from the sidelines perspective and, hearing people talk about it, was the difficulty of the game and the high barrier of entry for people. StarCraft 2 is not an easy game. It could possibly be mechanically one of the hardest games ever made, similar to Brood War. Brood War is probably a little bit higher. So that's probably what pulled people away from StarCraft, especially when it comes to esports. League of Legends and Dota 2 eventually came along and stole that crowd, and stole a lot of crowd that used to, be Blizzard fanboys. And slowly but surely over the years, the StarCraft 2 and RTS community start to die out, where only the loyalists still remained. But that's only because of Blizzard style RTSs, which are probably some, if not the best out in the world, but they're also very known for being mechanically very difficult to perform really well. Warcraft 3 not as much, but when you look at other RTSs that come out from different companies, Age of Empires or anything like that, they pull, but they're not known to be that difficult. So if you do make a Warcraft 4, it has to be a slightly different type of RTS. It cannot be that mechanically heavy.
For sure. Also, it's going to be very hard to like make that feel of a Blizzard RTS. You know, there's a specific feel to StarCraft, to Brood War, to StarCraft 2, to Warcraft 3. There's a feel when you play it. That team is no longer there. I'm dreaming about Warcraft 4. It would be an amazing entry, no doubt.
For sure.
But first, they have to repair Warcraft 3. They have to do something. So they have to like get one of the teams that handled the remaster for Age of Empires and fix whatever they can fix and make a relaunch of Warcraft 3 Reforged. And first of all, repair and wash away that shame they did, because also, like, you know, Jason also said like Warcraft 3 was Reforged was a massive debacle. It was indeed Blizzard's first bad game. If you think about it, it was the first time.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That we ever seen.
I mean, we've had WoW expansions where we were like, what's going on over here? But
yeah, well,
I think the Reforged
there was
like
BFA. That was during BFA. COVID was right around the corner because Warcraft 3 Reforged launched in January 2020. So, and the COVID was around the corner in February, March or something. So we weren't too far off, right? Yeah. And we were on the cusp of BFA. I think that was in 8.1. A lot of people criticized it back then, but there was also super fans. So it wasn't like it. I think the worst thing that happened prior to that was the announcement of Diablo Immortal. That was like in 2018. Yeah. But other than that, you know, there wasn't like no bad games from Blizzard just yet. Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
So this has happened, and it kind of like ruined a lot of its reputation. Warcraft 4, if it will ever be a thing, honest to God, I really want them to like hire Frost Giant and have him make it, because I don't know any other team that could deliver on that field.
And also that has that passion and skill.
They're super passionate.
Stormgate. It actually feels.
It feels like that, right?
It brings back some of that memory, so you can definitely feel like the old nostalgia there. But I can definitely see this go both ways. Although I'm hesitant on one of them. One way they could just say, okay, just scrap it, just go Warcraft 4, let's bring the fans back. But I feel like that's more of an Activision move, more so than an actual Blizzard move. I think the Blizzard / Microsoft, okay, let's make people feel like they matter. They'll probably do the remaster first. I don't want to call it Reforged anymore, and then see how that performs. They might still go back to okay, let's try to remake it again and see if this pulls back the people. And you know, we've just Age of Mythology just released with
Age of Mythology Retold is doing great. It's not doing fucking Call of Duty every year numbers great, but for a genre that is no longer popular and it's quite niche, it's doing good. Age of Empires 4 did great. Age of Empires 1 and 2 remastered did also great for its niches, right? So there is some appetite there. This is why I'm hopeful for it. But yeah, I think it makes much more sense to like have, you know, Warcraft 3 repaired first and then talk about a Warcraft 4. Because Warcraft 4 would obviously mean, wow, a lot of like, can you imagine the characters that would
for WoW? Dude?
That's what I'm thinking about. Like all of the stories that we and the characters that we met along all of the expansions. Can you imagine how do you like translate that into an RPG / RTS? Who knows? Maybe Warcraft 4 will be a full-fledged RPG with some micro strategy. Who knows? Maybe they won't go on this route. So Warcraft 4 was a thing. People were desperate to make it. They were hoping for Warcraft 3 Reforged to be a success, so they would be able to make it in the latest at least.
Yeah.
Didn't happen. Then we got Frost Giant, and they made Stormgate, and you know the rest of the story. So I found this, I was happy reading this, but also very sad. So it was mixed emotions on this one.
You know what I'm thinking? Blizzard greenlit this information to be out into the public, knowing that there's a level of frustration that people have with the recent development of Overwatch, of World of Warcraft. In the last
They didn't
greenlit.
They didn't greenlit anything. No, this is information from people that worked over there. Undisclosed names. Blizzard did not comment on anything on this book, like current Blizzard. So they did not greenlit stuff. They did not comment. They did nothing. No. So
well, I was gonna say that maybe they're fine with this information being out, considering that they might be working on other Warcraft projects that are gonna make it all go under the rug.
It's not the situation like that. No. So again, as I said in the beginning, Jason reached out to Blizzard. They got their copies of the book, like all of the Blizzard offices, so they know what the book is about. They did not comment. Okay. But again, there was a lot of talk about, you know, the people who were interviewed, who had discussions. He had hours with some of the folk that used to work there. Listen, man, if there's somebody that I would believe, it's Jason Schreier. Like his stories never proved to be like baity or bait and switch or not true. Everything he put out so far, it was spot on.
Yeah.
So that's the case.